All right, video number 2, interpret points relative to a system. All right, so we have a line here that has to do with, this is one subscription service where you pay $3 for each book. And this is a subscription service with just a flat $96. So you've got a line that represents $3 per book and a line that represents a flat fee of $96. And we have a point that is clearly on one of the lines, and they want to know what we're shown. It says a number of, what does this point represent? A number of books and their cost where the subscription with the annual fee costs less. A number of books and their cost where the subscription that charges book per book costs less. A number of books and their cost where both subscriptions cost the same, and a number of books and their cost that is not possible with either subscription. Well, that's not true. It's clearly possible with this one. They're not the same. This one isn't true. So which one is this? A number of books and their cost where the subscription with the annual fee costs less, or where it's per book? Well, it's clearly this is the per book line. It's below the flat fee line. So he only did 10 books. It was only going to cost him $30, not the full 96. So this is where the subscription with the book charges cost less. All right, again, we got 2 lines. This one is about whipping cream, getting a certain amount of percentage fat. You want to have 12% butter fat in your whipping cream, or the total amount, you want to have a total of 500 milliliters. This is the 500 milliliters line. So every point on here represents a point where we get 500 milliliters of mixture. Every point on this line is a point where we get the right amount of butter fat. We get the 12% of butter fat. Again, J is clearly on that line. So we definitely have the right amount of butter fat. The mixture has more than the intended volume and has the intended percentage of butter fat. That's it right there. It is, here's the volume. We're more than the volume, but we got the butter fat correct. All right, here we have 2 lines again. This one's about people like they're going the same direction. One guy had a head start. He started out 10 meters ahead, but he was going slower. The other guy started at 0. He's catching up. And what we have here is the point where they meet. Well, that's going to be where they're the same distance, where the person who's behind caught up. China's distance from the starting line at time when she is behind Josh. No, she's not behind him. She's equal with him. Josiah's distance from the starting point in time when she's behind Channa. Nope, they're at the same point. Channa and Josh's distance from the starting line at the time when Channa catches up with Josiah. That's it. All right, last one. Now again, we have 2 lines here. This has to do with making tortillas. So this is going to buy the total amount of white corn. So you bought the right amount of white corn and yellow corn. This is the line that shows that we get the right mixture we bought the right amounts to spend $12. So we bought the correct amount for weight, and then we bought the correct amount for cost. Now you'll notice F is on neither one of those lines. It didn't meet either criteria. Marcelina spends the intended amount of money and buys the intended amount of corn. No, that would be right there. Marcella spends the intended amount of money and buys more than the intended amount of corn. Okay, that would be if you're wanting buys the intended amount, spends the intended amount of money is all on this line. Buys more than the intended amount of corn would be up here. Marcella spends less than the intended amount of money and buys the correct amount of corn. So again, you're talking about spending less than so you'd be here. You got the correct amount of corn, but you spent less than what you wanted to spend. Marcelina spends less than the intended amount of money and buys less than enough corn. That's what we did. We're below both of them. All right, 2 down.